Hi everybody, I'm here to talk about yesterday's 1-0 win for Rangers at Ibrox against Hibs. And to say it was underwhelming is a euphemism, because it was one of these games, you take the 3 points, you take the clean sheet, and you just forget about it and look for reasons maybe as to why we were poor in a game we should have won by 2 or 3 goals at least. And actually, before I go into the game, I should say I should have known there was a bad omen before the actual game. I should have known it was all going to go downhill, because my son-in-law and I tried to get into the Sandy Jardine stand, our usual places, with our smart cards, only to see, or to be told, they weren't activated. Of course, this was the first game at Ibrox when people were using their smart cards. Last week against Dundee, it was QR codes, paper codes. So, not activated. Go to the ticket office and they'll sort it out. So we joined the huge queue at the ticket office, hundreds of people with the same situation. I don't know what's going on in the ticket office, hundreds if not thousands of season ticket cards not activated. So we stood in the queue for half an hour. We got 20 yards away from the door of a ticket office by this time. It's like 15 minutes to kick off, maybe less actually. And thankfully some kind of managing steward guy came over and shouted, anybody going into the govern stand, as he called it. So we followed him and he took us in an exit door into the lower Sandy Jardine. And when we told him we're in the upper, he said, I'll get a woman to take you there. So we had to hang around for another 5 minutes. Well, another steward eventually came, followed her upstairs, through a door upstairs into a normal part of the stand, with about, 10 minutes to kick off. So absolutely diabolical. I've read nothing in the newspapers since then. I've heard nothing in radio. There's no apology from Rangers on their website. I emailed them as soon as I got home yesterday to tell them, and I'm still waiting for a reply. So I'll need to sort that out, or we won't get in next week either, because we didn't actually get using the smart card yesterday. So I should have known that was a bad omen, all that carry on to get in. As for the game itself, what can you say? I think we had 67% possession, and yet the other stats show it was even in terms of, I think both teams had 18 shots at goal. I think we had 4 on target, they had 3, and of course one of these was a penalty. So really count that as 2, but it still doesn't make much difference. So to have 67% possession and only 4 shots on target sums up how poor we were. We started well. I mean, we had them in the back foot from the beginning. We had a bit of pace about us. We were passing about nicely. But it's one of these days, the longer the game went on, the worse we got. You know, it just ended up tentative, hesitant, hanging on to a 1-goal lead, frightened to try anything, especially coming out of defence in case we gave the ball away and it caused a disaster. So it was all pretty poor in the end, although it started, I suppose, brightly enough. The goal that we did get, when you think about it, it was probably one of our goals of the season, and it's the best Lawrence has actually scored, in my opinion. And where we sit in the halfway line, as soon as he got the ball, I thought he was offside, so I wasn't ecstatic when it went into the net, think it'd be chalked off, which it was. But then the longer the wait went on for the VAR people to do their offside checks, the more hopeful you got. So it wasn't such a surprise when eventually they did say he was onside. So brilliant goal, that should have set us up, but no, we didn't get any better after that. They got their penalty, which we thought, that looked dubious, that's going to be called back, and then of course it was, and it was rightly given as a penalty. The way Suter actually raised his arm a bit as the ball was coming towards him. I think he was trying to protect his face, but it doesn't matter, it was a penalty, and it was taken badly because the guy ran up and then he halted just as he was going to kick it, and that gave Super Jack Butland in goal the chance to just dive and actually stop it and gather it. So poor penalty just before half time, let us off the hook. We thought we'd come back out in the second half and the manager would have told them exactly how to improve, but as I say, it actually got worse the longer the game went on. When I think about it, that's when they started to get a bit more possession, but mainly their threat came from the usual long balls into the box, corner kicks, free kicks into the box, and even the guy, I think it was the right back Miller, he must have had about 12 throw-ins where he put them right into the box. And of course, when the ball lands in the box, anything can happen, especially when it was a crowded box. So any time that ball went into the box, it was panic stations among the fans, if not the players, because you just know anything can happen. I mean, it's one of these games you think near the end they're going to score here, because this has happened too often. The ball into the box, bouncing about, crowded, anything can happen. But thankfully we got away with it. We had a few chances, and of course, substitute. Hey, I love saying that. Substitute Drossers came on with about half an hour to go. I think it was a bit longer, and of course, he had the chance, as usual, to finish the game with about 10-15 minutes to go. Cross from the left, he runs towards it. He's about 3 feet from the goal line when he heads it right to the goalkeeper, who still did well to palm it out. If we'd had goal line technology, that would have probably shown the ball maybe half over the line, so it would have counted anyhow. But he palmed it out when it should have been in the net. I mean, if you can't head it in from 3 feet out, right in the middle of the goal practically, when can you score? So that was his chance to make us all sit back and relax for the last 10-15 minutes. And of course, all we got was more of the same agony, thinking they might snatch an equaliser at some point. So a game to forget. Afterwards, I heard the manager's excuses or reasons for why we played so poorly, why we were flat, lacking energy, not enough speed, all the usual things. And when I thought about it, it does have a point. I mean, I didn't realise that they didn't get back home from Sweden until 2 o'clock on Friday morning. So 2 o'clock in the morning, you go to your bed. So Friday's practically written off as a training day. Saturday, that's all you've got before a 12 o'clock kick-off on the Sunday. So it was all very close together. So I suppose you could almost forgive them for their kind of flat performance. Hibs will never get us as low as that again, hopefully. And after at least this Europa game on Thursday, we're at home, so we should be able to thank St Johnstone, having come back from Glasgow. Anyhow, if I think about the players, Cherny, another poor performance. He had about 3 chances where whoever it was, once it was McCausland, I can't remember who did it the other time. They passed it right onto his left foot, his favoured foot, and the first time he mishit it and it trundled past the far post from about 8 yards out. Another one, he just hit it past. Another one, there was 3 defenders in front of him, about 5 yards away, all in a line, and he just managed to hit it off them. He didn't even try anything different, just hit it the way he was facing, with 3 defenders right in front of him. So that just bounced away. So he had a shocking game, and he almost got into trouble when the fans really went crazy when he did a pass back to, I think it was McCausland or somebody, when he should have run forward with it in the second half, and the fans gave him the treatment. He started waving his arms about as if he was shouting at them, and a minute or two later the manager subbed him and had a word in his ear, because you don't take the fans on in that way. There's no way you'll win. You'll just end up being papped out the club eventually. So that was poor from him. Most of the players were average, if not even worse. Tavernier had another shocking game. Why have we gone back to him taking every corner and every free kick? Because 9 times out of 10 his corners either hit the first man in the box or go over everybody, and that's what happened yesterday. That's his normal. So that's shocking as well. Lawrence did very little apart from his goal. When Dowles comes on, you know you're in trouble, because he's just hopeless. Bayrami should have started. He looked good. Big Igamani didn't get much to do. He got 1 chance when a header out from the defence fell to his feet. He took 1 touch to control it, and then he fired it just a foot or 2 over the bar, but it should have been in target. But he didn't get any service. I mean, he looked willing enough, etc., and some nice footwork a couple of times, but that was it. So you got to feel sorry for him. So the others, what can you say? Conor Barron was as usual, so that was good. Raskin started. He was pretty anonymous, really. He didn't contribute very much, so it's no surprise he was hooked. Pity Diamande wasn't in the squad because of injury, because he might have shaken things up a bit, but no, he wasn't available. Typical. Who else can I talk about? I think that's basically it. There's not much else to say really. Most of them were okay. Actually, the best guy in the team who got man of the match was Hibsed, because he did some brilliant surging runs. He dribbled past people a few times. His crosses went awry 2 or 3 times. He wasn't brilliant at that, but he did add a bit of energy and excitement, and he had the Hibs defenders worried when he was running at them. So good on him. If we had another 2 or 3 like him, we might do a bit more in terms of making chances. So he was good. Bayrami was pretty good when he came on for the second half as well. So they were something to look forward to. The central defence was actually good when they were defending. Suter, I think, was maybe the second best man in the team, maybe even the best man in the team. Suter and Proper did some great blocks, some tackles, defended the box really well. That's why Hibs only had 3 shots on target, 2 if you don't count the penalty. So they did well defensively, blocking things, tackling, snuffing out danger before it got to the box. The biggest problem was, especially in the second half, when they got the ball from the goalkeeper and had to take it out, and they just passed it back and forward to each other, or out to Tavernier or Hibsed and then back again. So it was just so slow and predictable. Instead of going forward and drawing somebody towards them and then making a pass, they were just doing all this tap, tap, side to side, and occasionally they would lump it forward, which is never a good thing with the forwards we've got, especially when Jossers was on. So that was their biggest fault. Maybe you can't even blame them so much, because they weren't getting much support from the others in a way of coming towards them to receive the ball. Connor Barron was the only guy who was doing that. So that was their only fault. They had a good game, I would say. Jack Butland saved the penalty. I think that was it. I don't know if he had another save. So all this nonsense you hear the Hibs manager saying about, oh, we deserve to get something from the game. And he didn't even say maybe a draw. He was saying we could even have won it. Yeah, you could have won it as long as you forget all the chances that we spurned. But there was no way they should have got anything from that. They're a big, strong team, bigger than us, obviously. They're quite quick in places, well organised, well drilled. They stuck to their task. They didn't just sit back. They actually came at us quite a lot. But there was no way they should have taken anything from that game. But it was one of these days where you just think you can see them equalising near the end, because of the way things had gone probably since half time. So anyhow, take the points, take the clean sheet, smile, forget about it, look forward to Thursday when we've got Leon at Ibrox. They're apparently not having a good season so far, so let's hope that continues. And if we can get a win there, the smiles will be back on our faces again, and we'll be able to look forward to one of the easiest games of the season, St Johnstone at Ibrox. I'd be looking for a 4 or 5 nothing, especially after seeing the highlights when Celtic thrashed them the other day. So if that's how they'll lose at home, hopefully Ibrox will really make them lose a few goals here and there. So we can look forward to that, as long as we either draw or, even better, win against Leon. So here's hoping that we improve our performance and the guys feel fitter and fresher after a 4-day rest, if you can call it a rest. They should be training hard the next few days, and let's hope I get in and my ticket situation is all resolved by then.